Hello, welcome to Chess with Simon. I'm Simon. We're going to start with a game where I'm struggling to find a move that doesn't lose on the spot. I looked at a whole bunch of moves here that lose on the spot. That's my move. There's some variations. We're not going to discuss them. So this one's just gone. I think to be honest with you, regular viewers to this video or this series of videos will know that really it started to go wrong with probably, I think there's no excuse for it really. It started to go wrong probably there, I would say. This was a search for a silly cheapo, bishop g4, which Nigel was going to see every time, and the bishop was lovely there. And then fork, it just started to go downhill. I've lost a pawn. I suspect it's not savable if we're honest, and that's fine. We're going to do our best. And also, we're not going to resign it because part of the interest is watching the position collapse, right? Is it? I mean, just watching me resign is not very interesting, is it? So we fight on. This one versus Horde Coach, talking of games you could resign, we're not resigning this either. We are. Look at that horde of pawns. This one we're not going to resign because it's purely in theory. Now, you can play Rook C1 here. Rook C1 is the sort of Karpov style, solid, positional approach. I think Queen C2 is the wild one, where you can castle queenside and play moves like, when they play H6, you can play H4 and takes, and then when the knight moves, you checkmate on H7 because you open the H file. So in other words, you can imagine queen on c2 and then you castle, and then they play h6, you play h4, they take, you take, then the knight's attacked. If the knight moves, your queen arrives on h7 and it's checkmate. I mean, it's a little bit simplified, but those sort of tactics and styles, a bit like with reverse colours, the Spanish exchanged. There's something similar in the Spanish exchange, but for black instead of white. Anyway, we're not doing any of that stuff. We're playing Rook c1. And after Rook c1, I think white's slightly better. What do you think, Liam? Have I won a pawn here with a better position? I think this pawn looks vulnerable. I think what happened here was that I think our opponent may have seen. I mean, okay, let's put it on analysis. I think the issue was, I think, that we take. So if I take and black takes, then black's good. But if I go here, then I think, oh no, because then the knight takes, but you have to go here. Here. Then I think you're winning an exchange or something. And I think my opponent might have seen that. I don't know. I'm speculating, obviously. I mean, he may even have seen it covered on the video, but who knows? I don't know who watches this thing. I don't know how it all works. I'm just experimenting. Sometimes with disastrous results. Here, I'm getting out of a bind I've been in for a long time. It's a great relief. Knight here, defends the pawn, hits the bishop. Want to get my pawns on dark squares. I want to grind the endgame. This has been a lot of fun. And what's interesting as well, of course, is for me and Keith, he plays the King's Gambit, so this is how relationships evolve with people. You start probing the theory and changing things and trying different defences. And I'm not going to try that with Ian on the Smith Morrow because I just got hammered. Well, maybe I'll come back to it. I mean, the Sicilian can't be unsound, right? The Sicilian can't. There's rumours that a draw offer might be forthcoming at some stage from Gary here. And these rumours are from the horse's mouth, actually. So I don't know, is this a draw or not? What do I do here? I mean, do I play f4 and just hide the king and just sit there? I mean, can you play f4, hide the king on h3 and then just move the bishop around? Do we even need to commit? I think maybe I play f4. And then you've got one weakness, right? You can put the... Check! And I lose the game. Whew! That's why it's always good to check. Check the checks. All right. We'll do this instead. That was exciting, wasn't it? At some stage I might play f4. Probably not at this stage. We all good? No one's making any blunders in correspondence today? Blunders are bad. Talking of not making a blunder, I'm going to move my rook to the side. This game, for what it's worth, I feel I should be winning, but it's probably a draw. Yeah. Okay, this game, I feel I should be winning, and I think I'm going to win it. Because these pawns are just running into my pawns and piece. This one, d6, right, is the most solid and sensible here, d6. I think that's what we're going to play today, d6. You know, not committing, not worried about bishop g5. White's probably going to castle. Maybe I'll play h6, maybe I'll castle. You know, it's a slow Italian. They're all the rage, particularly after the Berlin. The Italian came all the rage after the Berlin. This one, brilliant move, Justin, very good. Very good. Well, if I'm not going to lose a piece, my kingside pawn structure is going to get shattered, isn't it? So this, check, this, check. Okay, on this occasion, I think actually, well, who knows what happens here, really. I don't know. I mean, you know what? I think black's got the better of this. I think black's got the better of it, but at the end of the day, got to move that knight, and you've got to move it to a square where you don't lose the piece. And that's essentially giving you one choice, isn't it? Unless there's no tactic, you can't hit the bishop. There's no checks. You've got to do what you've got to do. Otherwise, you're losing on the spot. Oh, Ian. I suffer so much in our games. I like it when we play on time controls, but in correspondence, you're absolutely lethal. I'm doing this, but to be honest with you, I think black's better here. What was this? This was my solid attempt to handle the Perts, which is a really nice opening, and it's served me very well over the years, including I've been able to cause Nigel some distress in a rapid game that we played for the club, although I think it was drawn in the end. I think I might have had a very obscure ending which I could have won, but it was in the end it was drawn. But it was a good game. I can't remember, to be honest with you. Okay, so here, this is the end, right? We're going to take here with the bishop. Spoiler alert, the idea is knight takes, I'm defending the f2 pawn. That's the idea. But I think black's better. I mean, not better at chess, although I do think that as well. But I mean, black's position is better. This, talking of black being better, I don't know, come on. Let's not be defeatist here. The database wants to do all sorts of flamboyant things. I mean, I don't know, f3 is not really flamboyant. This is a manoeuvring game. It's a manoeuvring game where white's got more space and black's really compact. Okay, let's just play bishop f3, and I don't want to play g4, to be honest. Well, do I? Do you want to try and exploit the space advantage? What happens? g4, g6, bishop g3, e5. What does it all mean? Well. Very hard to understand, isn't it? Look, g4 makes sense on sort of... I suppose the idea is after bishop f3, you could be preparing g4 because... Yeah. You could be preparing g4. Do you know what? I'm going to be respectful here and not make a move because I don't know what the answer is. Really? So we can't take the bishop because we lose our bishop. We can take the bishop, but we lose our bishop. There'll be nothing in the thing. This was a Petrov, and this still happened. Otherwise known as the Russian game. I go here. White notices that the pawn is pinned. I unpin. I lose my whole queen. I resign. Okay. One thing we could do here is this. And then threaten to take twice on b3. Okay, so black's got some play here. Not delighted with it, but I'm not, in despair as such. F2 looks a bit vulnerable, doesn't it? I think black's got some play here, frankly. Okay, but we're not going to make a move because it's all too hard. But we'll probably. But if I was in time pressure, I'd play queen b4, queen b5 now. But I'm not, and I'm sure I'm not in any rush to get humiliated on that one. Although I'm sure it will. All the good things will happen. What about Stuart? What about the other stuff? Is Stuart thinking? Are the people who've got a life who are not actually making moves in correspondence chess, but they're doing things like getting to know their partners or working and stuff like that? I wonder what that feels like. Stuart's thinking. This chap's thinking. Everyone's thinking. Okay, in terms of chess.com, I'm about to lose on time in like a load of games. Okay, firstly, Josh has re-challenged me. Josh and his dogs. Yes, Josh, we will play again. And who's going to be white? You are, Josh. So, good luck. I hope it goes well. How do I look at the next game? You can't. Good luck. I hope it goes well. I know you're going to play well. Okay, this one, we're going to go d4. Next, we're going to go knight f3. Next, we're going to go c4. Next, we're going to go d4, knight f3, c4. We're going to go e4. Yeah. There's different reasons we're doing all these moves. We're going to go d4. With d4, we claim we can get a slight positional edge. With knight f3, we claim we can prevent the Nimzo and the Grunfeld, which are both, for me, I think they're excellent openings. With c4, we say the Sicilian is good as black, and if black's best response here is e5, then c4's got to be a good move. And finally, with e4, we say, well, if e5 is the best response, then after knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4 was slightly better. We don't mention the Sicilian. I think we can be slightly better against the Sicilian. Gosh, there's so many of these games. This is essentially boiling down to me cycling through this set of moves. Now here, knight f3, knight f6. So at this point, anything can happen. I mean, you can either fianchetto or you can play Queen's Indian type stuff, or I think I'm always going to be playing knight f6 here to knight f3. It's just a bit less committal. Let's play classical. Queen's Gambit declined, I think we'll play here. Let's play... God, there's a lot of knight f3s going on. Is knight f3s very in? Because I thought it was less popular than d4, e4 and c4, but it seems to be very in. Well, I thought it was a bit less... let's play Nimzo. I thought it was... of course, I might forget which was which here. Caro can. So if we believe in Queen's Pawn, we believe in the Caro can. Let's play Grunfeld. An empty mind. I'm sure that's not true in all sorts of ways. It's a very modest name. This guy I think I've seen before. Let's play Sicilian Dragon. Got to remember that Sicilian's a dragon. It's not an Adolf. D4. Let's play I'm tempted to play g6 to prove to myself that it's a King's Indian or a Grunfeld, but maybe I don't need to. I think you're meant to take here, aren't you? When you press openings book, Explorer, openings, Explorer, is taking the best move. Well, taking gets the best stats, and most people take. But what? Bishop takes. I think I've done this before. You take on c5. Wow, let's do this. Okay. Takes. Alright. Next. Regular viewers to this channel will know that this is petering out to a draw. I'm not going to play e3. I just think it's pathetic. We know it's petering out to a draw, don't we? I mean, in fact, is that okay? King there, king there. Let's not just play it mindlessly. King there, king there. King there, push. King there, we win. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think we can play this. I think it's fine. It's fine. It's only chess, right? It's only if we draw this, we're joint top of the group. This one I'm winning, aren't I? King's Indian attack. King's Indian 4 pawns attack. Subtle different. 4 pawn attack is enduringly fascinating. Okay, here attacking my queen. Yikes! But the check at the back I think is fatal. Check. Can't block with the bishop. Can't block with the queen. You can, but you lose. Got to block with the rook because if you put the king there, it's checkmate there. Block with the rook. Takes. If queen takes, then you push. If bishop takes, then you take the king, which you can't take the king. So you got to take with the king, and then white does something awesome. Check. I mean, basically we're a piece up, and basically we've got an attack. I don't think we're quite breaking through, but it's sort of. Okay, this is good. So I think we've got the best minor piece here. Don't know what to do though. But I think that that knight's there forever, right? That knight is on that square forever. Isn't that awesome? Can we just pile up on the pawn? You know, imagine rooks on e6, e8, queen on e7, and then just take the bishop. Of course, the queen takes though. I just feel like we ought to be able to cause trouble. I suppose also white can play f4, although it does make the king position a bit windy. Alright. We got the better minor piece here. What about h6 and g5? Does that win a pawn? Is that too dangerous in the king position? Push. I don't know. If that's that, I don't think it's that interesting actually if we push here, because it just means we've got pawn imbalances on both wings. Should we do it anyway? Come on, you've got to make some moves, otherwise, you know, the world grinds to a halt. Okay, our idea was for our king to head around and pick out those weaknesses, right? Okay. So let's see if our king can invade into those weaknesses. And the point about playing this was to stop this. I mean, it maybe my opponent spots this and plays h3 soon. Or even watches the show. Although I think the people on chess.com don't really know what's going on. I think the people who really know what's going on are the ones on Cumner. But whoever knows how the internet works. I mean, it works in mysterious ways, right? But the Cumner guys know because I dropped them an email. Cumner guys, or the guys who have once been to Cumner. Okay, well that's probably a sensible move, isn't it? I don't know, I mean, the Italian, I mean, b4, knight bd2. I suspect they're the main moves. Rook e1 is the main move. Knight bd2, a4. Knight bd2. I mean, knight bd2, developing a piece, you can't beat developing a piece, can you? Come on, you really can't beat developing a piece. I mean, I'm sure rook e1's a good move, kind of preparing bishop e3, but I'm all right with developing a piece. I think... Oh, Aaron. I mean, we had this. This is embarrassing. We had this in one of our correspondence games and on the live chess. Okay, come on. What did we do? Do you castle? Must be castles, right? Must be castles. But then do they pin your knight? D4, C4. Nobody castles. One person castled and won. D4. Not really good stats though, is it? C4. Knight C3. I quite like C4. Come on, you can see the logic of C4. It's a sort of Sicilian type logic. So what happens? You play C4, then what do? They take it. Do they? I'm taking with the... Oh, why can't you just take with the bishop? No one does that. Knight F6. Knight C3. Okay. I think I'm happy playing C4. I think C4 is a good... C4 is a good enough move. Yeah, but why didn't we castle? I wanted to castle in the beginning. And what I'm worried is after C4 they played D4. What happened in the castle game? Castle. Knight F6. Come on, let's castle. What's the worst that can happen? But what if they pin? My worry was the pin. Because if I was going to just play that, can't you? No, you can't. Well, you can take here. It's not clear. Push, takes. Blah. No, that's grim. That's grim. Okay, so what do you do against the bishop? You play h3 maybe, and just push it away. And then when it goes, you can consider g4, or you can play g4 when they play e5. Or come on, Aaron. Do you watch this, Aaron? Or maybe you work it out for yourself. But I'm castling this. I should look back at that live chess game and see what we did, because regular people who followed this will know. People who followed every minute of this. I wonder how many of those there are. People who've followed this will know that I got into a lost ending that I managed to fluke. E4. I'd rather not lose any of these on time. That's going to make the challenge of getting a place in this tournament harder. How many people are there? 12 people. 3 go through. And we're number 4 seed. Oh, we can do this. Come on. This will be fun. But yeah, losing some gratuitously on time isn't the best start. So let's not do that. This one, I think this one looks like a knight f3 to me. Let's pop in a knight f3. Doretti. And should we put in a g3? I mean, come on, what's wrong with that? Good opening, isn't it? It's called a King's Fianchetto opening for reasons I don't need to explain. Okay, straight on pause for 2 months. That's a great start. Okay, so everything's going to take 2 days now. So we're going to do one tactic. This is a tradition. And we will see that my tactics are going downhill, but whenever I do them with you guys, it always works. So check at the back. King there. Rook here, attacking that knight twice. What on earth? How about this? Takes, king takes, then pin the knight. Rubbish. How about check at the back, and then when the king moves, you just take the free rook? And then that's all good, isn't it? Check. When the king moves, you take the free rook. And we are a whole rook up. And then black hasn't got anything there, I'm sure. Check. The king moves. I take a free rook. Now, we think for a moment, because we see that our rook's hanging. So, for instance, the king could take the knight. My opponent could take the rook. And then the knight escapes. And then we are a minor piece up. Or the queen could block, takes the rook. No, I like the first version. So what's happening now? The knight's coming out, right? And we're claiming we're a minor piece up. Yay! I hope everyone's well. Thanks for watching. See you next time.